Well, hi guys, this is a PlayStation 4 first generation 500 GB fat version. How you can recognize a fat version? Square corners. So this was the original first ever release, and it was really dusty, and it's really been used a lot. So I'm going to show you a full service today, cleaning the fan, also how to change the thermal paste, because after you use this a lot, the thermal paste will go dry and brittle, and it's not cooling down the PlayStation. All right, what do you need? Some tissue, maybe, some cotton buds. I've got 3 screwdrivers here, a Phillips, a T9 Torque 9 screwdriver, and I've got a tiny little guy here. I'm going to do some surgery or some modification. I'll show you that in a minute. Compressed air, isopropanol alcohol thing for cleaning, and it dries really quickly. Thermal paste, MX4. I usually go for MX2, MX4, those are my 2 favorite ones. A good strong paintbrush to dislodge all the dust and everything else. You might not need all of this, but you're gonna need most of this. You can buy, now they have, PlayStation 4 has 2 different types of screws, Phillips and a T9. Now the T9 is not your normal Torque 9. The security ones, it has a little hole in here, and that's the one actually you really need. The screws here, so we'll just take the sticker off really quickly. The T9 here, on the middle there, it has a pimple, nipple, whatever you want to call it, and that gets in the way, so this doesn't sit properly in there. Now what I do is, and I've done it before, this tiny little flat, I go in there and actually break it off, and that's what I've done. And now my T9 normal works. So that's a little hack there. So let's go ahead and start taking pretty much everything off this PlayStation 4 to get to the motherboard and the processor. First thing, we want to get the stickers off. Now the first time I opened this, what I did was I already opened this and did a thorough clean. If it's really bad, I would highly advise, guys, you clean this, most of your cleaning outside, because you don't want that dust to go on the inside of your house or home. So the top and the bottom's got to come off, because the motherboard is attached all the way underneath a lot of components. Tiny little screw, take the little, if you don't have the security Torque 9, then like me, do a little hack mod, take the little thing in the middle off, break it off, and then your Torque 9 normal should fit. So we've got 4 here to take off. 1, 2, 3, 4, because both the top and bottom are going to be coming off. If your PlayStation 4 is less than 1 year old, then you can't take the stickers off, you will void the warranty. So PlayStation 4 is now about 8 years old. Okay, so this is the back of the PlayStation 4. HDMI cable here, so you remember how it is. You want to lift here on the corners and release, and then push away, and it comes off. So we've got the main fan here. Outside, if it's really clogged up, loosen it, use your duster, and so on. See all the stuff coming out. Now to get to the inside on the other part, we have to take this off and a few other things off here. We're going to minimize how much we take off. You don't need to take off absolutely everything, and I'll show you some little cheats here and there. Black ones on the inside, outside, silver ones on the inside for now. And if obviously you can use this video if you get lost on what you took off. I remember the first time I took it off and I was a little bit scared, will I be able to put it back together? So it's just memory. If not, you've got the advantage of the video, you just play it back. So these guys can be quite annoying, so it's getting caught straight up. So this is now the Phillips. Yeah, I might be rushing a little bit here, guys. Torque T9, 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 Phillips, Phillips. So now the main power cable to connect the motherboard to the PSU is here. Fragile. Carefully take it off there and just leave it on the outside like that. It's absolutely fine. It's got wires, you can change the form. Now here, to take this off, you've got a nice edge here so you can lift, but it won't come off, it's stuck there. You want to take it straight up and off. So we need a little bit more force here, and we're applying straight up force. Okay, so once and wiggling a little bit. Needs a bit more strength and leverage here. And there, it's come off and we're off. All right, there's your PSU, put that to one side. That's our power cable, we can leave that there. Now we need to take off this cable here, and to do that you need to lift this metal piece up gently and away, and then holding this black tab you want to pull that way, don't lift up, and it should be loose and it should just come off like that. Ribbon cable, look after and protect that, so leave that loose there. And you've got your, I believe this is your Wi-Fi little adapter thing connection here to the motherboard, so you just want to lift straight up and take that off as well there. And you want to take this cable off as well. So this one's a little bit harder, so just using a tool and a little bit of gentle pull and that comes off as well. Now we're going to take off this metal piece here. It's got 3 Phillips, 1, 2, 3, and these are rounded tiny little screws. Now what I tend to do is trying to remember, so watch what I do. So these are completely different. When I take this off, I'm going to leave it here, and I'm going to leave the 3 screws with them over there. Turn it over gentle. All right, now we're going to take off slowly the top of the PlayStation. So first this off to access some screws. So this is the glossy shiny side, leave that to one side. Now another 3 Torx, and again I've broken that off. So those 2 to take this cover off, and then to take other parts off, there's more screws underneath here. You've got Torx, all these Torx to come off. Now these are all the same size as the original ones we took off, but we're going to keep them to one side. So we've taken the 2 screws off here. Now you see your PlayStation logo at the front of your PlayStation here. So you got your disk drive and your PlayStation logo recognized, and you got your HDMI cables at the back. Now you got to use a bit of force here, guys. There's a little catch there. So you lift this side up, and you got to use quite a bit of force here, there, and then lift it off and push it to the back. At the back it catches onto the HDMI sockets and everything else, so there. Don't try to lift the back off first, because it will break that part. So the part I was talking about is this corner here. It just goes under there, so you just got to lever it. Now we can access the main shell chassis of the PlayStation 4. This is where your CPU is, heat sink and everything else, and we've got to take off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 Torque and 2 Phillips. All right, and then it's pretty much easy. So I'll speed the video up for this part. The good thing is, for size, it's the same size as our original ones, so no problem, but again I'll keep it separate. So you see I've got blacks, silvers, that one with that one, these 2 for that plastic front top, and these now for the chassis. Alright, all the screws of the chassis are off, but the hard drive is connected to the chassis with this screw. The hard drive's got to come off as well. Phillips. This is straightforward, easy, lovely, beautiful screw with the PlayStation logos. Now, it won't come off. There's one hidden screw, and he wants to play a little game with you. It's on the other side. Now, this cable you want to also take off. Now, for this one, it's very fragile. Leverage here. There we are, and it comes off. All right, so when you want to go put it back on, it goes straight down there. Now, as we're here, we might as well loosen this heatsink CPU grabbing spring. This is quite a unique screws. You can't really go confused with these guys. So this one grabs the CPU and holds it in nice and snug to make contact with the heatsink. So there we are. Now the next one is a Phillips, and it's a rounded unique screw, and it's quite hidden. It's one single screw. Remember our PSU cable here, and it's a black one just there, and it's a Phillips. So this is that last one chassis holding on to the motherboard. Don't forget this one. Put that to one side, turn it back over. Oh, I can already feel it, things are coming away. This is under here, so you want to lift and pull away. See that? If you try to lift it straight up, it doesn't want to go off. Lift and pull away. This is the back of your PlayStation. The HDMI cable is here, there, and lift away. And here we are. You've got cooling pads. They look really good, and therefore these ones making contact and keeping them cool. If you really wanted to, you could replace them as well, but they look in good condition. They're absolutely fine. This PlayStation hasn't had any problems with heating or anything, but we're going to completely wipe it out, and it was really dusty, so that's the reason why we're going to give this full service and show you guys. Same with the motherboard. So that's your motherboard. Lift it up over here, HDMI cables there, lift it up, and then wiggle it and pull away. Ready? There's your motherboard. Now this is your CPU. This was caked in old thermal compound that was dry and brittle. I've already cleaned it, but I'm going to show you guys how to clean it. So you got your isopropanol. First, with a tissue and cotton bud and things, get all the excess off and brush and clean it off, and then clean your solution. Now the thing with ISO is it dries really quickly and doesn't leave any residue. There we are, done. Dry it all up, let it all dry. There. Now when I first opened this, I was hoping to see, like, I don't know, AMD or Intel, but it's really beautifully embossed Sony Computer Entertainment, and it's got model number and everything else on there. And if you wanted to know the model number, I love, because I'm a nerd, I've been told, CXD 90026AG. Beautiful, it absolutely looks really nice. Now that's already dried and ready to go, so we're going to put it back together. Thermal compound, if you don't know how to put it on, less is more, but you got to get coverage. This is a syringe I use. Pull it out first. You always get mess. Look at that, I haven't even opened it and I've already got it on my finger. So gently push and put a blob on the middle. There, and then I pull the syringe out because it keeps on coming out, and using the tip I'm going to paint. So I'm going to cover all the area. You don't want to put too much on, guys, because it's going to go from here onto the other areas and make a mess. Now if you do find you've done too much, can you see I'm making sure I've got all the coverage? And then when I put the springy part back on and it grabs it, that's going to spread even more. So that's completely covered. And see how little I had to use. Now if you find you've used too much, this is where your cotton bud comes in. You can see I've got a little there, so just clean it off like that. Make sure you don't get too much on the edge. There we are, and we're ready. So that's your motherboard thermal compound applied and ready to go. This is a really good time to clean everything because you've got most of the stuff off. Brush it. Spray it. If it's really dusty, do it outside. So this is your PSU, guys, power supply unit. This will be really dusty and you can see the dust and things in there. So you want to use a brush like this and dislodge, can you see that? As much as you can. And then the other side, here, there will be lots of things. Now this has already had a quick clean, so there's not much. It looks fairly clean because I opened it and had a look another day. You can even use a hoover as well and suck up as much as you can. Alright, and after you've done that, we're going to use some compressed air, so bear with me. So now we've cleaned as much as we can with the brush. Now we're going to blow out with the compressed air. Did you see what came out? So we're going to do this for a little bit more all around and then do it from the other side as well. You want to keep that side free because you want this to blow out. See that? So this PSU will perform heat and last longer now. Now let me grab the rest of the PlayStation 4. So for now, as I've got this open here, I'm going to show you. You want to, this is your main fan and only fan in here. You want to, this was really caked in dust. And you want to dislodge with the brush slowly as much as you can. This has already had a quick clean. And you want to spray that as well, just like the other part. Now this is where the power PSU was. And be careful with those two pins. You don't want to bend them. And you don't want to damage this cable. Alright, so dislodge. Did you see all that stuff come out? You've got heatsink cooler here. Look at that. So I'm going to carry on now. It's absolutely freezing, guys. It's in the middle of winter. I'm going to carry on doing this indoors now. Now to put everything back together. Hopefully it will all go nice and smoothly. As we're on here, we might as well be thorough and give these guys just a quick wipe. Make sure they stay in their correct position. Now to put this back on, the one cable you want to, and the first time I did it is, obviously don't put your finger there, is remember your power supply cable. Make sure it goes in where it should do. Alright, so there. Now if you put that there and have a look, so if you put that to one side, so have a look there, and your power supply was here, you want to make sure it comes through that gap there. The last thing you want to do is fiddle and have to worry about that piece there. So feed it through that gap there, pins through here, and remember this comes in at an angle down here under this metal, and they have location points, so you can't really go too wrong. And your location points are there through that, through that black thing there. Remember this cable, make sure it's come out. There's a location, so you can't really go wrong. And if it doesn't fit in there, that means it's out of position. Then we've got this piece here. Now, you might get confused, oh, which way round, but your best help is going to be these two holes here. See those two holes? There. Coming at an angle again. And holes line up, location point here and there, and we're on. There we are. Again, we'll speed up this part. So I'll show you, you see this, how it works is, so this is your natural spring. This grabs the motherboard and pulls it towards the heatsink part and makes a really close seal. I'm not going to tighten this fully, I'm just putting it into location there. Now all these screws, hope I can remember where they were. This one always gets me, but follow the arrows. There's an arrow. Again, I'll speed this part up, guys, so here it goes. See you in a bit. Alright guys, the 12 or 11 screws, they're all in. Now we're going to tighten this, and this goes in quite a bit, so do it like this. Tighten a little here, then tighten the other one a bit, then take like this, alternating. This is the best way to tighten anything that's spring loaded, especially CPU. If you're doing a computer, CPU, cooler, heatsink, this is the way to do it. Okay, nice, done. Don't over tighten anything. Now don't forget that little black screw, and you can't mistaken go wrong, because it's the power supply there, and you'll see there's a little arrow pointing, so that's your black rounded single, quite unique, individual. There's no other screws on this I've seen like there. And that connects that to the motherboard and the outer shell. Now to put the ribbons on, so this is your PSU ribbon, remember it came through that hole. Your Wi-Fi card, there's a Wi-Fi tidy holder here, there, it goes through there, and then straight circular pin goes on there, and I'll move my hand out the way and show you there. This guy 4-pin goes in straight in there, either side with your nails, push it in. Now this cable folds, comes here. Make sure that metal is out the way, push it straight in, and then bring the metal and push down. You might have to use your nail or a tiny little precision screwdriver, and just give it a little tug and make sure it's holding, it's not loose, because this is your disk drive connecting to the motherboard. It's not the do and die, because you could be without a disk and your console will still work. Okay, so that's nice and tugged in there. That's on. Check everything over. So now we have this protective piece to go on. Now how to remember which way he goes on. You see that groove there? That keeps that ribbon flat. But the main help is going to be this little round hole for this guy to be seen through. And also there is actually 2 location points, and I show you there, it just drops in, and it's these 2 little black things here. Let me show you. So that little black thing comes through there, and that little, and that's how you know it's in the right place. Now we had 3 rounded Phillips screws for this. One is in here, one there, and they're so tiny I don't want to drop in that gap, and then I have to turn the whole console over, or it can go somewhere. Done. Okay, so this is for the power supply, no problem. These screws are for the top, we're going to flip it in a moment. And there's one more cable to put on here, this one here. Remember, it goes straight down, and this is your fan to the motherboard cooling, so this is really important. And there we are, done, nice and snug. Okay, so this is the top of your PlayStation 4. You've got your hard drive, so just to point out guys, you see there's an arrow here and there's an arrow there. Don't put that screw there, because this is the top part of your cover, and can you see that one goes with the plastic and this one goes under. So when you go to put all those screws on, you might look at the arrows and think, oh, I'm a screw missing, but be patient. Remember, this guy has two screws, one here, one there. That one goes through. Ideally they shouldn't put the arrow there, and the other one goes through this black post. Okay, so remember, there's the back, this part, it catches on here in the corner, and you come round and you clip it on, it goes over, done. Make sure it's all in. So this will give your, if your PlayStation 4 is still working, this is a complete service. You've cleaned it, you replaced the PSU, not PSU, sorry, you replace the CPU, thermal compound and everything else. So it will give a whole new lease of life, and if you don't let it overheat, then it should last you a very long time. My honest opinion, I reckon PlayStation 4 will be supported for at least another 3 years by Sony. So go ahead and enjoy, and there's a lot of games in development. Remember, straight down, straight in, don't go at an angle, don't force anything. It should just fall into place. Remember to have your cable out, and that last couple of mils, there, there, there. So the battery is in. Now for the cable, it can be a bit fiddly because you haven't got much room and it's quite small. So just bend it down, line it up, and you can only go in one way because it's a key system, meaning it's got slots and things, and it won't go the other way there. And then I like to put on my side and just push it in. There we are. Last few, 9 to go on and the cover to go on, guys. So here we go. Straight Phillips there, long part going in towards the center. So these are the two Phillips I've just done. Now grab your T9. Done. Finally, your cover. Front of your PlayStation, nothing here. Back of your PlayStation, grill, fan, common sense. There's your power supply, 8 shape, 2 pin. So that goes through there, and that's the back screws. So that's how you know where it goes on. Now, have a look. Big lip, no lip. So now it's the opposite. This part hooks on and this part wraps round. There, so there, you see, look, I try to lift it, look, it's not coming up. It's already caught on there. And then it just falls in, tiny little clicks, done. Finally, full Torx. If you try to put the screw in, I show you side view. If you try to put the screw in like this, it's not going to go in because the thread is not like that. You see the angle of this? So the screw actually goes in that angle, like that. You see that? Wrong, it won't go in. You'll get cross thread and the screw will stay out. Correct. Think about this flat of the screw being flush with that part. So I find it, lift it up like that at an angle, then I've got natural angle and there. So that's the angle. If I try to go there, it won't work. There. And there you go, sitting flush in there. Finally, to make it tidy, if your stickers are usable, just put them back on and it makes it look so much tidier. And that's how, guys, you do a full service replacing the thermal compound on your CPU and cleaning your PlayStation 4. Hopefully you found this useful. Thank you so much for watching. I know it was a long video, but trust me, when I first opened this, it took a lot longer. It was a learning curve. Give your PlayStation 5 a new lease of life. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. And I'll catch you on another video real soon. Bye for now.